Whenever you hear reports of a missing or kidnapped child on the news, there usually isn't a happy ending. Many vanish forever, never to be seen or heard from again. But despite the thousands of kids that go missing each year that are never found, there are some cases that were miraculously solved. Thanks to investigators, their families, the public, and a little luck, or mistake on their captors' part, they managed to escape from a life of imprisonment. These 10 people were discovered after being kidnapped as young children and spending years in captivity. One of the victims, J.C. Dugard, was found after spending nearly 20 years with her kidnappers. 1. Elizabeth Shoaf. In 2006, the 14-year-old was kidnapped by Vinson Filyaw. He posed as an officer and snatched her while she was walking home from a bus stop. Elizabeth was in captivity for 10 days. On September 6, 2006, 14-year-old Elizabeth Shoaf was walking home from high school in Lugoff, South Carolina when a police officer approached her and told her she was under arrest for possession of marijuana. A man dressed in combat fatigues wasn't a cop. His name was Vinson Filyaw, a 36-year-old former construction worker wanted for the rape of his ex-girlfriend's 12-year-old daughter. Once Filyaw fell asleep, she texted her mom and friends who were then able to contact the authorities. 3 days later, Shoaf was free. 2. Shasta Graney. In May 2005, Joseph Edward Duncan III fatally bludgeoned her mother, Brenda Graney, her 13-year-old brother, Slade, and the mother's fiancé, Mark Mackenzie. Shasta and her other brother, Dylan, were both sexually abused at Duncan's Montana campsite before he shot and killed him. She was held captive for 7 weeks. Shasta McClain tells all about her tragic run-in with pedophile serial killer Joseph Duncan III, who murdered Shasta's mother, stepfather, brother, and abducted. 3. Sabine Darden. While riding her bicycle to school in May 1996, Sabine was taken by child rapist and murderer Mark Dutroux. She was chained in a filthy dungeon and kept as his sex slave for 80 days, where he tormented and brutally raped her. He convinced Darden that he was her only ally and that her parents had failed to produce the ransom that would save her from fictitious men who wanted to kill her. During her imprisonment in the basement of Dutroux's house, Dutroux allowed Darden to write emotional letters to her friends and family, which he never sent despite promises that he would do so. 4. Elizabeth Smart. At the age of 14, Elizabeth was kidnapped. She was repeatedly raped and drugged by her captors, Brian David Mitchell and Wanda Barzy, over a 9-month period. Smart was abducted from her home at knife point by Mitchell, while her younger sister, Mary Catherine, pretended to be asleep. Mitchell, who claimed to be a religious preacher, held Smart at a camp in the woods with Barzy, where he repeatedly raped her. During her captivity, Smart accompanied her captors in public on various occasions and went largely unrecognized by those she came in contact with. 5. Florence Sally Horner. In 1948, Florence Sally Horner was abducted and kept against her will for 21 months by Frank LaSalle. Sadly, shortly after her rescue, she was killed in a tragic car accident. A 5th-grade student in Camden, New Jersey, attempted to shoplift a notebook from a five-and-dime store after a group of girls at her school told her to do it to be accepted into their social clique. Sally's mother was a young widow. Her stepfather had committed suicide when she was 6 years old. 6. Sean Hornbeck and Ben Ownby. Sean was kidnapped by Michael John Devlin on October 6, 2002, when he was 11 years old. He was missing for 4 years and 3 months. The turning point happened when Devlin decided to kidnap a 13-year-old boy named Ben Ownby. That was on January 8, 2007, but a 15-year-old neighbor saw Ben crying inside the truck as it raced away. The police were contacted, and the 2 boys were rescued. 7. Stephen Stainer. In 1972, when he was 7 years old, Stephen was kidnapped by pedophile Irvin Murphy. He was held captive for 7 years and 3 months before escaping in 1980. However, after his escape, life wasn't easy. On December 1972, Stainer, age 7, was abducted in Merced, California by child molester Kenneth Parnell. He was held by his abductor 200 miles away in Mendocino County, California until he was 14, when he managed to escape with another of Parnell's victims. 8. Natasha Kampusch. While walking to school on March 1998, she was kidnapped by Wolfgang Priklopil. She was held in a secret cellar for 8 years and 5 months before her escape. Natasha Maria Kampusch is an Austrian woman who was abducted at the age of 10 on March 1998 and held in a secret cellar by her kidnapper for more than 8 years, until she escaped on August 2006. 9. Fusako Sano. Nobuyuki Sato kidnapped Fusako and kept her locked up in his bedroom for 9 years and 2 months. Fusako Sano is a Japanese woman who was kidnapped at age 9 by Nobuyuki Sato, and held in captivity for 9 years and 2 months from November 1990 to January 2000. In Japan, the case is also known as the Niigata girl confinement incident. A 4th grade elementary school girl disappeared on November 13, 1990 at age 9, after watching a school baseball game in her hometown of Sanjo, Niigata Prefecture, Japan. A large police search failed to find the missing girl. 10. J.C. Dugard. While on her way to school in 1991, J.C. was abducted by Philip Garrido. She later went on to give birth to his children before being rescued. The kidnapping of J.C. Dugard occurred on June 1991, in Myers, California. Dugard was 11 years old when she was abducted from a street while walking to a school bus stop. Searches began immediately after Dugard's disappearance, but no reliable leads were generated, though her stepfather, Carl Proben, witnessed her kidnapping. For more top 10 videos ideas, put your suggestion in the comment below, like Sarah and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, see you on my next video, Ma Salam.